My name is Eva Holmberg Tedert. I'm Swedish, but I spend a lot of time here in Nepal. So Nepal is like my second home country. The most important things for me has always been to try to contribute to the Nepali girls and women. Main thing is education, and to give young girls education, and not only to learn how to read and write, because that's not enough, but to get a good profession. And we have, from me and my organization, we have been helping, I think it's altogether 394 young girls. It's about 20 boys also among them, but 394 young persons, around 20 boys, but the rest are girls.
For the last 15 years?
For the last 15 years, yes. And that's education to very good professions as nurses, health assistants, midwives, skilled birth attendants, but also teachers, social workers, engineers, because that's professions that are really needed in Nepal. And as most of these young people, they are now working in remote areas, especially in the Himalayas. And I think that's the most important thing, because if you look at healthcare in Humla, for instance, Humla is, by the way, my favorite district. Earlier, there were hardly any healthcare at all up in Humla. No roads, no nothing. And Humla also had the highest both maternal mortality and infant mortality in whole Nepal. I mean, Nepal has been working so hard to reduce the mortality among infants and mothers. But Humla has always been the absolutely hardest district to help. So I felt, as Humla caught me like that, I really have to do something here. Now we already have a couple of nurses working up there, and they come from Humla, which is also important, because it's impossible. If you have people coming from Kathmandu Valley, you send them up to Humla. First of all, people speak Tibetan up there, or Humli Tibetan. And young people up there, they want to come back to their families down here in the valley, so they won't stay. They stay for a couple of months, and then they come back again. So young people from Humla, and same with other districts like Mugu, Jumla, remote areas, Tapliung, everywhere, they have to get education, and then they can come home again to their districts, and they can change Nepal, because I can't come here as a foreigner to change Nepal. I mean, that would be totally impossible. But I can help young people to get a good education, and they can develop and change the country. Yeah.
So you told me that you are helping the people who are less fortunate.
Yes.
Can you describe them, from what background they are from, and how your contribution has changed them for better? Can you give me some examples also?
Yeah, many of them are from misfortunate families, I would say. In many cases, where the parents have been dead already, or it also happened that fathers have had to leave the families, going abroad, for instance, working, and that could be under slave-like conditions in the Middle East. And sometimes they can send money. Yeah, very hard conditions. Sometimes they can send money home, sometimes not. Sometimes the mothers are also dead, or ran away, or it happens something, and the kids end up on the street. And for a young girl on the streets of Kathmandu, it's so dangerous, because the risk of being snatched by human traffickers is immense. So And
Because
they
they are
think,
prone to sexual assault,
Yeah.
even on the street.
even on the street, yeah. And many of them think then that, I will get a job, or someone comes here and tells me, oh, you're so pretty, what are you doing here? I'll help you to get a job, you will earn good money, da 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 da.
Luring them.
And they perhaps they buy a nice kurta for them, and suddenly they are at a dance bar in Kathmandu, or even worse, they are exported, so to say. They are sent to India because it's too easy to get over the border. And then they end up at a brothel in Delhi or Mumbai or somewhere. And I mean, you probably have seen what it looks like at GB Road in Delhi. And there are so many Nepali women there. So what I want to do is, and that is exactly also what the Nepali government is working for, because we have to prevent this and to make sure that young people from Nepal and young girls and women from Nepal are not sent abroad to be abused and to be sold. That's like flesh, because they should get education. They should stay here in Nepal, get a good education and work to develop the country. And that's super important. And that's what we have to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you are engaged in helping them to gain education.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. And when needed, also a home.
Home also.
Yeah.
So you have home facility in Kathmandu?
Yes, we have.
In which places?
In Naya Basti, Yorpati. We have had intentionally
It's kind of
in
orphanage
Bauda,
or no?
orphanage, yeah.
Orphanage, okay.
But that intentionally we closed last autumn because the girls from there, they had grown up. Yeah, they should
There's
move
no
out
need,
when they
yeah.
are 18, you know. And then also, we also support a home for children who are coming from Santinagar, Sukumbasi area. Most of them come from Chepang villages and end up in Santinagar. We don't run that home ourselves, but we support it. We pay for it so they can grow up there. But then also, we have also tried a lot, when possible, to resettle children, because if there is a loving and caring family, and the only problem is that they are poor, I mean, then we can help the family, so the children can grow up. And I mean, sometimes it's not the parents, because they might be dead or off, or also sometimes drug abuse, really on drugs or something. That happens quite often. But then there might be an uncle and auntie, or it might be a grandmother and grandfather. And in that case, we can help the family instead.
To adopt that children.
So the children can grow up, and it's normally like someone's grandchild, for instance. So I love the grandparents of Nepal, because very often they can take care of a child. They are
have
only
a lot of love.
a lot of love. They are only
affection.
poor, which means they can't feed one more mouth.
Right.
But they really want to. So if we help with education, with food, and sometimes if the child has some I mean, sometimes the child would need healthcare, could be a disability, would need help. We could do that to make it possible for those grandparents to take care of the grandchild.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that thing. So you are helping those children under the age of 18? Can you
we
age
help-
bracket? What is the age bracket?
The youngest child we have got she was only 1 year.
Just 1 year.
She was just one. She was out on the
So that's in
street.
band, then?
She was out on the street with her older brother. Her brother was then, let me see, he was 3.5,
It's an
and she
interesting
was
story.
1
Yeah,
year.
tell me. Can you just elaborate it more about this story?
Oh yeah. This young girl, the 1-year-old child, or 15 months was she. She and her brother, they had been with grandma, but grandma passed away and there were no one to care for them. There was a father, but he was abroad working. So one of our homes, where our Dolma, she's the most fantastic teacher of all Nepal, I would say, where she's a Montessori teacher, where she was working. She found these children, and then with the help also of the neighbors, they could figure out where do these children come from. And the brother, he tried to carry, tried to help his little sister. But they could move in then at the Manjushri Child Care Center, where Dolma is the manager, and grow up there. And then later on, when the father came back to Nepal later, then we could get in contact with him. So then the children could also move to him and live with him for a while. But after like 2 years or something, then he needed to go somewhere else to work. The kids came back to us then.
Now, how old is he or she?
She is now, let me see, she was born 2010, December 2010. So she's 14 now. She will turn 15 this year. Yes.
Okay.
So she's one of the...
It was a life-saving measure.
It really was.
Kind of.
And then our children, our students, when they turn 18, they can't live in a home, in an orphanage any longer, because that's not according to the Nepali law. But
now,
we still support them.
They become adult after reaching 18
They become
years,
adult.
not in India.
We still support them. They move out to student hostels, study further on. And if they are studying something within healthcare or within social work or teaching or something like that, that's very useful for the country, that when they can help others, then we go on to support them and pay for their studies until they finish. I mean, the oldest ones now, like Pema Dechen from Upper Humla in Jangar, she took her bachelor's in medicine already, and she's now into her practical year, and she's already 25, obviously. We have another girl. We're just going to send her now to become a dentist. So I mean that takes many years before, but we are happy to help them when they are. I mean, many Nepali kids, they're so smart, intelligent and motivated, highly motivated, and it's fantastic. It's a pleasure to be able to help them.
Right.
It is.
Okay, right. So you told me about your organization. What is the name of your organization?
The name of the organization is the Society for Street Children in Nepal.
Nepal, okay.
Yeah.
So when it was established? Back in 2010?
In 2010,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So how do you arrange fund for this kind of activity?
Oh, I'm a professional beggar. So
You're professional, sorry?
beggar.
Professional beggar,
So keep your wallet away from me.
Okay.
From start.
So are you also getting funds from INGOs also, or what?
Very little, most from private persons.
Most
We
from
do
private
have some extra funding from friends in the Gayatri Fund in Germany, but most of our members and sponsors, they are Swedish small companies, small enterprises or private persons, because it started with the money, with my savings, but they were soon gone. And then all my friends, I told all my friends, hey, open the wallet, I need money from Nepal here. And with the picture, hey, you see this girl here, she needs to go to school now. And a lot of all my friends have helped me.
Very compassionate people.
Yeah. All my friends, and so many of them also have visited here in Nepal and really love to travel around here, go trekking, see their sponsor child, and to be part of it. And then after a couple of years, it also spread. So my friends' friends also came in to contribute and to help. So
and the network,
yeah.
I mean the network is still expanding.
It's still expanding. It is.
Nice.
It is, and we are
Because
registered.
you are doing humanitarian work. That's the thing.
And we are registered as a charity organization by the tax authorities in Sweden. So we are recognized and registered there.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So means it is based only in Nepal.
We're only working in
Okay,
Nepal.
okay, not in other countries.
No,
That's
no,
the thing.
no.
So can you tell me why you decided to choose Nepal to help this
Oh.
unfortunate souls? Was there any particular incident that inspired you to do?
It was.
Okay, so
It was.
tell us.
I was at a lecture about Buddhism, and that was in Sweden.
Exactly.
And
Buddhism teaches about compassion.
yeah, also, and and I met a Tibetan Lama who
How
is...
long back?
Oh, that was 2008, I think it was. And when this Lama, Pema Dorje is his name, when he told me about how he and loads of monks and nuns, they had helped poor children, especially children with disabilities, with pot spine or with cliffs, or to help them to get health care, to help them to come down, carry them out to get health care here in Kathmandu. And also in India, also from Arunachal, and help them come to Delhi for treatments. And after this lecture, it was I had the opportunity to ask this Lama, how can I help? And then he said, I'm very worried about all the street children in Kathmandu. Can you do something? He said. I said, yeah, I can. Yeah, I could do something. Yeah, and that's the way it started.
So it was a kind of turning point.
It was,
Yeah,
it was, and that was very important. And you know, sometimes I'm wondering if that had not happened, what should I have done with my life? Is not. I had probably been
You are
sitting.
living a life worthy to live.
Yeah,
Because of
I probably had been sitting in a big house,
driving expensive
with
cars.
my own swimming pool, probably in Spain or somewhere, and I had been bored to death.
Yes.
So I'm really happy
Exactly.
that Nepal.
You are very clear. You are getting a pure satisfaction from this kind of activities. Like
Yeah.
you told me.
You know-
Big house, big cars. They are just artificial. They don't have a long-term value.
That could just go.
Exactly.
When I see all these very clever young students, and also all the nurses working here, and teachers and social workers, when I see their work and what they are doing to change the society for the better,
Exactly.
that gives such a fulfillment. So it's
Exactly.
totally
It's a pure
incredible.
words, yeah.
It's so much
Pure,
more
exactly.
than
Exactly.
than sitting there having a fancy house or
Exactly.
something. So it's
I salute your feelings. I salute your thought. Really.
Thank
It's coming
you.
from the deep of my heart.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, like, are you also facing some challenges to run your organization, like kind of financial crunch sometimes?
It's always a challenge, I would say.
What are the major challenges that you are currently facing, or you faced in the past, or you are currently facing?
Well, it's always to make sure we have enough funds so we could help all these children and students we already are responsible for. But from the 394, we have only 44 left now.
44 left.
44 now who
Okay.
still are
From
in
394,
education.
Only 44 are left.
Only 44 left. The rest, they already have their
They have
education.
already built their
They are already
future,
building
whatever.
future.
They have
So,
already a bright future, yeah.
yeah, most of them.
Most of them.
And I mean, of these 44 children or young students, we have to make sure that we every year have enough money to pay their tuition fees, pay for the universities, and not only that, they have to live somewhere and
housing and
eat.
fooding,
They have to have that
The
too.
basic things in life.
Yeah. So that's a necessity. We have to make sure that this works. And we also are working very, very close together with a fine organization, Chori, here in Nepal. Chori is an anti-trafficking organization here.
Can you just cite me, what are the names of these organizations?
Chori
Chori
is
organization.
that organization. We're working very close to them. In collaboration with them, because they are helping so many young girls to get out of the dance bars here in Kathmandu, and they have a shelter in Nakku, and we help them financially as much as we can. We're also doing some work together with the very fine organization Ekek Paila, Dr. Suman Thapa, who is in charge of that. And that's an organization with specialist doctors who are, if they are working 5 days at a nice hospital, earning money, and 1 day per week they are working for free with no salary for Ekek Paila. So I think Dr. Sumantapa is the only one who's working full-time there. The other are working at other hospitals, and then they are doing 1 or 2 days
free, yeah,
per week for free. And they are they are out to health camps all over Nepal. And we are so happy that last year they also went up to Humla, my favorite district, and our nurses could work together with them then for the benefit of the people in Upper Humla.
Upper Humla, okay,
Yeah,
nice,
yeah.
good to hear, okay. So means you are taking a lead of all these things at the front line, you are in the front line, I think.
Not always, but I mean, sometimes I'm in the front line, but sometimes it's more like I can support the persons who are in the front line, and that's also very good to do. It's a kind of give to be where is the best, what's the best to do in each case. I mean, when Ekek Paila is around working, I shouldn't be there at front line because they are specialists. They are really fantastic, and then we could help. We be there in the background to help. And same with Chori organization, with Hirada Hall is the director, and I mean they are not only working with that shelter in Nakku, they also working preventive, especially in Novakot, and give education and give a lot of training to young girls there. We could help them. We shouldn't take the lead there. We should be in the background just helping.
Exactly. You should hand over to the expert, concerned expert.
Exactly. And as I said to you, I mean, I can't come here and change Nepal.
Exactly.
Nepal has to be changed from Nepali people.
Exactly.
That's very important.
It was a very good saying. You put it in a very effective way. Yeah, that's the main thing.
So we could be there to help.
Help, exactly.
Yeah.
But the main leader, the main actor and actresses are Nepali themselves.
They must be Nepali to do that.
They must take the lead, yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So what's your future plan? Like you are collaborating with certain organizations. Apart from that, is there any concrete plan?
Well, I have most of my future is already most of my future is already behind me. I'm already 67, and I think that what we should do in the future, I mean, we should make sure that the 44 students we still are 100% responsible for, we should make sure that they could, so they go through the exams and out in their professional life. That's very important. And then we should also go on, when they are moved out from us, then we should go on to back up Ekek Paila and Chori. That's what we should do for the future. And I'm thinking about, I should retire, I should kind of back off. It would take a couple of years to do that, but I will do that slowly for the future. And many other of my friends, especially we have a very, very efficient and good board with 8 members in Sweden, that many of them are also here quite frequently, come to see Nepal. They know many of our students, and some of them are younger than me, and they will go on too with this work.
You will hand over your responsibility to them in a gradual way. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what is so fantastic? 3 of our girls. Are now working with us. Sabi, who grew up at Manjushri home, she's a social worker now. She's a bachelor in social work, and she's working with us now. We also have Chiring, who is a health assistant. She's also working with us and doing a fantastic work also then for the girls at Chori. And part-time, one of our students, she's Mira, and she is a student in journalism, so she's a future colleague of you. And she's working part-time for us, helping to make small video film clips, interviews and things for us all the time. So and I mean that's a wonder. So I've left a lot of responsibility to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they have become able to handle that responsibility.
Yeah.
And seeing them do so, you must be feeling very happy.
I do.
Yeah.
It's a wonder.
It's a wonder, yeah. It's a joyous feeling, yeah. Joy,
It is.
And so, like, so when you see someone helped by you having bright future, so how do you define that feelings? How do you define that emotions?
it's I would say it's a pure joy.
Yeah, pure joy.
Pure
yeah.
joy,
Pure
and
joy.
especially when they choose professions where they will help others, because ever since the kids were so small, like that, like this size, I've always been talking a lot about the idea, pass it on. And I used to tell them that when I was a kid, I got help from older people. Now I'm old, I can help you. And that's the same. You
chain,
should
yeah,
go
cycle,
on.
yeah.
It's a cycle.
Yeah.
You should also go on to help others. So pass it on or pay it forward. So many, I would say most of our kids are used to that idea. They're like, yeah, I should do what I can to help others. And that makes me really happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Very well said. So you are also looking some sort of support from Nepali authorities regarding your work?
Well, I mean, we try to do everything we can in accordance with Nepali law and legislation, and especially then social welfare
Exactly, social welfare
authorities,
organization, yeah.
and also what say in the Nagarpalika, just so Ora and Nagarpalika and all the authorities at all the from
local level authorities,
yeah, from ward level and all the
higher
way
level, yeah.
all the way up to national level, and I think we have a very good communication with the authorities, and I also have talked a lot with police, for instance, because that's also important.
Very important,
And earlier, when Ramesh Karel was, I've talked a lot with him earlier, and also to know more, because he knows everything about human trafficking and about drug abuse and all those things.
He has more knowledge, yeah.
Yeah, he's very very knowledgeable in all those. So I've learned so much about So I've learned so much from how the Nepali police are working, and also working together with Indian police. Sometimes you could get the impression that everything is so corrupted in Nepal, and yes, it is. It's very corrupted, but there are very good people too. There are good police officers here. There are also efficient civil servants. So everyone is not corrupted.
Exactly. That is the real story. Not everyone is corrupt. Exactly.
And one thing that I sometimes used to say to Nepali people who sometimes try to give me a hard time, then I used to look, what does the Nepali law say? I go back to, I check the law, and then see, and then I tell, like, do you remember some years ago it came that you mustn't beat children at school any longer. That's not so long ago, it's just some years ago it came.
Yes.
Before that also, it came that you mustn't beat children in orphanages, that is totally forbidden for staff members.
Totally illegal, yeah.
So when we had a case where a staff member had been hitting a child, and she was more kind of, I have to draw them up. But I said, no, this is not legal according to the Nepali law. You have to obey the Nepali law. And then she was more kind of, oi.
We have to comply with the laws.
Exactly.
We have to be a law-abiding person. Exactly.
And I think the Nepali law is I think the Nepali law is much more forward than the common mind, because it takes time.
Exactly.
The law and the legislation works out quite well. However, it always takes time before the population get used to that. No, this is not legal and this is not. And for instance, just a simple thing like girls and boys. Everyone has the right to go to school.
Exactly.
There are still families out in the countryside that think, we send the boys to school. The girls don't have to go to school.
They are not supposed to go to school.
So,
This is so, yeah.
And I mean, that's, if you look what the lawmakers did and how they are thinking like a generation ahead.
Ahead, yeah.
And that's a very important signal also to people everywhere. They say that also girls in the countryside are entitled to go to school.
Exactly.
So things like that's important.
Very important, exactly.
And I think it's always, for us as foreigners, it's very convenient when we can say, no, look at the law here.
Yes.
We follow the law.
Exactly. We have to be very rigid.
Yeah.
in following the law.
And sometimes Nepali people look at me like, how do you know that? I know what's in the law, I've checked it.
Exactly.
So in that case,
Very good,
I would say that Nepal is very, very much forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. So lastly, do you have anything to say to our audience? Any last message?
Oh, I could talk forever. I could be like a waterfall, like. But I think that Nepal is on a very good path. That you really have done a lot to reduce maternal mortality and infant mortality, and you've done a lot to now try to encourage all children to go all the way to grade 12, all the way to SLC. It will take time, it will take a generation, but it's on the right path. The only thing I could wish for is that the politicians sometimes could stop quarreling. That's the only thing, because what Nepal needs is cooperation, that you work together, that all good people should, all forces should work together. That would be important. But I see a huge development in these 15 years I've been here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There has been some significant development.